2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro in mud bath color. We're gonna take a detailed look at this thing because we finally got some time with it. Second time looking at the 4Runner TRD Pro with this new exclusive mud bath color. What do y'all think of it? We can see a little bit of metallic-y flake to it. Kind of looks a little bit, just a little bit, like the quicksand color, but to me, not as brown as the quicksand color from 2016. That was the exclusive color on the TRD Pros then. This one has a little bit more of a gray to it, kind of some green as we start to walk this way. It could be just reflecting off these Texas pines, but it does have a little bit of a grayish green to it. Then in addition to that, on the TRD Pro, we have some gloss black everywhere, from the fenders, the lower valence, the heritage grille, the non-functional hood vent right here. A lot of places on this truck we have the gloss black in it. Speaking of the grill, this is the double mustache meme that's kind of going on.
Listen here, brother, if you need anything for your Toyota 4Runner, Tacoma, Tundra, Yodaverse has you covered, brother. The link will be in the description and the pinned comment, so go over there and get you some stuff for your Toyota vehicle. Hell yeah, brother.
Honestly, in person, you don't really see it that much. It is hard to unsee. Maybe the front end of the redesign will be a little bit different. If you guys remember the 5th gen 4Runner, it wasn't the most appealing until they refreshed it, in my opinion at least, in 2014. So this is what we got on the new 4Runner. Its stance is a little bit wider, as we can tell, than the outgoing one. The 4Runner did grow a little bit with both the wheelbase. We are now at 112.12 wheelbase. This 4Runner is a little bit longer than the outgoing model. It's actually a little bit longer than the Land Cruiser as well. We don't have specifics for interior dimensions yet, but the 4Runner has grown when compared to the 5th gen. But since we are up front, we will look at this heritage style grille. Again, a lot of gloss black. We have the camera right there above the Toyota logo for the full 360 camera system that this vehicle has. Then we have the light bars, the radar for our radar cruise control, which will go all the way down to 0 miles an hour and back up. Rigid fog lights that are only white light. The Trail Hunter will change to an amber color. Gloss black lower valence, and then below that we do have the TRD skid plate. As we look at the actual headlights, they are a projector style housing. This will be our DRL and also an amber turn light, and you could tell that they are like some stacked kind of projectors with it. Down here it says TRD, a little bit hard to see in this direct sunlight, and then on the other side, for the driver's side right here, we can kind of see since it is a little bit more shaded, but it says Pro right there. So when it's lit up, it'll say TRD and then Pro. As we walk around to the side of this new 4Runner, what do you guys think? Honestly, when it's like this, if I just zoom in, if it's like that, it just looks like a 4Runner, right? A little bit of the clip up front does have some Tacoma vibes to it, but really just like B-pillar back, it really looks like a 4Runner of all the generations, especially the rear end back here. Kind of looks like a 4th gen a little bit, and then kind of 1st gen and 2nd gen kind of thrown all into it. But the tires here. So we were rocking 33-inch tires standard. These are Toyo open country tires. Most likely the same ones that are on the GX, collaboration between Toyota and Toyo to make some good kind of quiet tires, but with more of an aggressive terrain. So they're not gonna be the off-the-shelf Toyo open countries that you would get from a local tire shop, more of like kind of an OEM style. 18-inch TRD matte black wheels with some black lug nuts, and the tire size, like I said, about a 33. They're 265/70 R18s. Now behind those we have the TRD billet upper control arm, and then we could see the Fox shocks down here with our selectable lever right down on the right hand side. So what that means, QS3, you have 3 selectable stages basically for the suspension. The first stage is kind of like a stock OEM. Second stage is a little bit of some off-road trails, and then third stage of them is if you're driving this truck very fast out of the desert and you need a lot of dampening with it as well. So it's manually adjustable. It would have been nice for the potential price range of this truck that it's going to be if it was all just kind of live Fox valving like the Ford Raptors are and the Ranger Raptor and stuff, but still nice to have selectable shocks on this TRD Pro. Up above the tires we have some massive gloss black fender flares. Now some people don't like the gloss black because it'll get all scratched up while off-road. While I understand that, it is nicer than like my Tacoma over there that has plastic fender flares, because if you scratch these up while off-road, you can buff them out. It's not like a textured plastic or anything to where it is permanent. This you can at least buff out, so just keep that in mind. Above that, we do have the TRD Pro badging here on this 4Runner. Gloss black mirror caps with the cameras right there for the full 360 camera view. Our door handles, people have noticed this too. I honestly didn't notice it at the reveal event, but they are not even. And honestly, looking at it in person, it's because the notch right here on that C-pillar of that door, it kind of upticks a little bit. So I guess it kind of just flows upward. Everything is bringing your eye upward here from, I guess, a design standpoint, even up to the rear window that has a cool feature of it. That's kind of like the first gen 4Runner and the second gen. The glass actually tapers up to the top of the roof line. So if you guys look at a first gen, second gen 4Runner, my second gen 4Runner actually really looked like that in the back. Is pretty cool. So that, I think, is why the door handles here just kind of go up, just bringing the eye up here of the truck. It doesn't look bad in person. I don't know. I mean, this definitely could have been a little flatter, I guess, but like I said, with it just all going towards that rear glass, maybe that was just a design standpoint. C-pillar, very notched like all other 4Runners. Then you could tell above that, we do have the gloss black roof rails, so no more big roof rack like the 5th gen 4Runner TRD Pro had. Rather, we have this gloss black one. And then below those door handles, do have some TRD step rails. So these are like what we have on the Sequoia, kind of like a bed liner grip. They are step rails. They're not really rock sliders, so they're attached to the rocker panel of the 4Runner and not the actual frame. As we come to the rear end, this is where things look very natural, very 4Runner-esque back here for sure. So the rear window still does roll down on these trucks. The windshield wiper is tucked up right underneath. Third brake light right here. And then in the back, it says Toyota. These are our little buttons right here, since it is keyless entry, to roll down the window from the back if we would like. But this is very iconic to a 4Runner. Like, just standing here looking at this, it reminds me a lot of my 5th gen and Cavalry Blue that I have. Then the cool thing though is it says TRD Pro embossed into the tailgate. So those aren't just stickers. We can actually tell if we get a little bit close to it that it is all embossed into the tailgate. The iForce Max badge right there. Towing capacity of 6,000 pounds, so even though it's a 4-cylinder hybrid, it will tow more than the outgoing model. Not really sure exactly what the TRD Pro will, but for 4Runner in general, it has a max towing capacity of 6,000 pounds. Here's a close look at our new rear taillights. But that's about it, guys. What do you think about the exterior of the 4Runner? Let's go ahead and go now onto the inside, where I'm impressed, but I'm not that impressed, just because it's a Tacoma in here, and part of me wishes that the 4Runner had its own identity, but it's like the Sequoia, how it and the Tundra share a lot of features. However, the one thing that I have noticed, and this is even a pre-production model, is the materials are really good, because the 4Runner is still built in Japan. So it's a ton of soft touch materials all throughout. Like the Tacoma TRD Pro doesn't have a lot of these soft touch materials, nor do they feel amazing. So honestly, the 4Runner, it sources its parts from, or materials from, different areas, most likely Asia, but a lot of this just feels a lot better than the Tacoma. It is very pre-production in here, so this will be a more textured finish, I would hope, on an actual production model. But just the materials used so far for it being a pre-production model, they definitely feel a bit better than the Tacoma. We have TRD Pro right here. Most likely the TRD Off-Road and other models will have something here kind of like Tacoma does. One thing that I noticed too on the 4Runner compared to the Tacoma is we actually have some memory seats. So we have memory seats on the 4Runner, which is pretty cool. We have 4 auxiliary ports right here. So the Taco only has 3. The 4Runner now has 4. And 2, didn't notice this in the past, but we have an automatic steering wheel on the 4Runner, I'd hope, because this thing is probably going to be close to like 70 grand, which is ridiculous, right, for a 4Runner. But it's nice to actually see these added features when you start to ask for that luxury price. We have the TRD light bar down here, our light that is on for the back hatch area, all of our inverter stuff, 120. We also have a 2400 watt outlet in the back, which I'll show you guys. You can move your headlights up and down, manual dimming, auto light, the gas cap, all that stuff. As we start to climb in, we're gonna notice that the Softex seats, they are technical camo. And again, the difference between this and Tacoma TRD Pro is just a lot more cushy. I feel like the 5th gen 4Runner had such good seats, and I feel like this follows with it, maybe just a different foam material. But as we do climb on in, you'll notice very Tacoma in here. Not the biggest fan of it. Again, I wish that it was a little bit independent of its own. Just kind of how like the Sequoia and the Tundra are the same. Not the biggest fan of that, but I understand why. And hopefully those cost savings will come to us, right? But the technology in here, we have a 12.3 inch screen right here on the for the infotainment. So if we change this, what is it going to show as? Oh, it actually shows as a 4Runner here. So we have Sport, Normal, Eco. That is all done with this selector knob here. Same with the 4-wheel drive select, all of our multi-terrain select control buttons, drive mode, crawl control. Everything is integrated right into here like the Tacoma is. But it's a 12.3 inch screen, fully customizable. If we go ahead and hold like the OK button right here, you're able to customize everything. So like if you want to change your fuel economy, you could change it to driving support, navigation, anything like that, audio. Or we also can change this side, you can change the middle, the side over here to the left, to really whatever you want. So like that actually kind of shows a 4Runner. Oh no, that shows a Land Cruiser right there. So very pre-production of a truck. We do have a digital mirror right here, 14-inch screen, wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. Nice black headliner, right? With a standard moonroof for the TRD Pro. JBL sound system up here with the removable speaker, just like the Tacoma has. And then dual climate control, heated ventilated seats, which is nice. The outgoing model did not have that. Integrated brake controller over here, again, because the 4Runner can tow upwards of 6,000 pounds. You could block off the AC to the rear seats. Heated steering wheel, which is nice. I think that was like 2023 for the 4Runner. Same shift knob as the Tundra, Sequoia, Tacoma. And then down here, we have the rear backup assist, the camera view for your full 360 camera view. It's not set up yet on this prototype. And then we have the rear locker, front stabilizer disconnect bar. And then it says Toyota over here, which is pretty cool, heritage style, because it is the TRD Pro. Glove box that is wrapped in the Softex material as well. It does do the Tacoma thing a little bit, not as bad as the Tacoma, which is actually pretty nice. Again, the JBL sound system in this truck, and then the passenger doors have the TRD Pro right there. And then we also have the kind of oh crap handle right here, Molly panels, little spot to hold a bag or groceries or whatever. Wireless charger right over here, and then to the right of that, we have some fast charging USB-Cs and also a 12-volt outlet. Our cup holder is right behind all this. Pardon me, I'm sweating. Even this feels just softer and better than my Tacoma. Then we open this up for our center console. All of our off-road gizmos down here, that frees up all of this. So on the outgoing models, we had all the crawl control stuff up here, but now we do have the sunglasses holder. This is our button to roll down our rear window, our SOS stuff, dome lights and everything, and then the moonroof. And then come into the middle seats of the 4Runner, again, where this differs itself from the Tacoma. Soft touch materials up here. The Tacoma TRD Pro does not have that. We do have nice, also soft touch materials down here on the door, so it definitely feels a bit more premium than the Taco for sure. We do have some cup holders right here, which is cool in the door, and then we also have some cup holders right here in the center console. Now the seats for the 4Runner, they are able to recline back, so if you're sitting in it, it can recline back or forward. So you can see right here, we have the seat, and then it will recline back further if we really want. But the reason for this is because the 4Runner seats tumble now. So they don't fold forward like the last generation does. So I need to move this seat forward again. Pre-production materials right here. We'll pull that all the way forward so you guys can see these seats tumble. So the 4Runner, you can get it as a third row. So that's only in the SR5s and the TRD Off-Roads, none of them with an iForce Max hybrid powertrain, because your batteries sit right down here. So all the seats will tumble forward. However, if you want them to lay somewhat flat, this is how the seats will go. The bottom doesn't come up like this anymore, or this fold forward. So this is how the seats flat are gonna be. Unfortunately, no HVAC up in the ceiling. We do have it down here for the rear occupants with 2 USB-Cs and a 2400 watt inverter right here, which is nice. But our rear HVAC is right there. The Land Cruiser is the only one that has it up in the ceiling, and I believe some GX models have it up in the ceiling too. We'll go ahead and just tumble this seat, so I'll show you guys. So this whole one comes down, Again, we can flatten that out. So you could see the space that we'll have if you want to sleep in your 4Runner, right? This is a hybrid, so this is going to come up a bit more than the other models. But if I put my hand right here, not a whole bunch of a gap, but right there, maybe to where my thumb's at. So however much a hand is, right, is the gap from the top right here to the bottom. And now we will go to the back of the hatch to show you guys just how kind of flat it is, but also the storage back here too. So you could see that kind of gap that I was talking about. So if you want to sleep back here in the back of your 4Runner, you totally can. And honestly, I feel like it has a little bit more room than the outgoing model just because of how the seats are. Because with the 5th gen 4Runner, with your bottom of your seats tumbling forward, you were kind of stopped like right here. But I guess if you want to put something down here or sleep a little bit longer in the vehicle, you totally could. But with the battery packs back here, it does lift the back end up a little bit. But the cool thing is that Toyota gave you some storage. So you have some storage right here. You have some storage also right here. And then since this one is not a 3-row, you have the kind of cup holders, but they're more of like a rectangle back here for some more storage, some more kind of like molly panel situations. Even over here on this right side, we have the JBL sub, some latches right here to latch stuff down in the back that's also integrated on top of the batteries back here. This is our startup battery. So if you're gonna run any accessory lights, you may tie it into that, or also for the 4 kind of aux panels that the 4Runner has. And then our bottle jack right up in here, which is where the bottle jack has been on all 4Runners really. So LED lights, standard throughout it, which is pretty cool. But again, just a look at kind of that little rise in the rear end. But we don't have all the specs yet. I feel like this is obviously a bit kind of shorter than my 5th gen 4Runner, even with the cargo tray that my 5th gen has, just because the batteries sit up just a little bit high back here. And lastly, we will come to the power plant, guys. So I can't do this with one hand anymore because Toyota elected to use a prop rod, unfortunately. So let me set you guys down right over there above the fuse box. So what we're working with here now, guys, is the same as my Tacoma over there, same as the Land Cruiser. Standard for the TRD Pro is a 2.4 liter iForce Max engine. So this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, but it is a standard hybrid. Here's our little inverter right here. It is an inline hybrid system, so underneath where the 8-speed transmission is, and then at the flywheel of this engine, there's an electronic generator making 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pounds of torque. Now, MPG numbers aren't out yet, but the Land Cruiser is kind of any indication of this 4Runner. The Land Cruiser gets like 25 on the highway. So this 4Runner, it will probably get right around 25, maybe 26, because it's a little bit more of a sleek, less boxy design. So I mean, compared to the outgoing 4Runner, 26 miles per gallon for the iForce Max would be pretty rad, but it is a little bit of a rabbit's nest down here. We do have sound deadening up top, and we do have a TRD intake on this, which is kind of like a cone filter intake. Oh yeah, and then that's all pins and stuff, but we can see that it's like a nice high filter cone.
Like a cotton, like a
Yeah,
K&M type.
yeah, high flow cone filter and stuff. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the more detailed look at the 2025 4Runner TRD Pro. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and I'll catch you all in the next one. All right, see you later.